everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Adelina and I make videos about living in this tiny house on wheels and living a more intentional life. Today we're going to talk about toilets because when I move to Vancouver Island, I will not be hooked up to a municipal sewer system, nor will I have a septic field, because on the new property it's too far away from the original septic field for the farmhouse, and to put a new one in is going to be very, very expensive. So as of right now, for now, I won't have that. I will only have the ability to dispose of gray water. And so I need to get rid of my flush toilet that I have in the tiny house now and replace it with a waterless toilet, a compost toilet, an off-grid style toilet, something like that. So I have been doing some research. It's time to get this thing ordered because it's going to take a while to get here. So what I thought I would do today is go over all of the ones that I have researched and considered, even if briefly, and give you my the pros and cons for each, and then also at the end of the video let you know which one I chose and why. So if that is interesting to you, stay watching. So I have my notes because there's a lot of information that I want to give you, and it's getting warm in here. So let's get this done so that I can then turn the air conditioner on, because I can't turn it on when I'm filming because it's very loud. I do have the fan on above me here, so hopefully that's not bothering the audio or anything, but it's either that or, again, naked. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is the most expensive one on the list of the ones that I considered, and it is the Cinderella Comfort incineration toilet. Now this retails, now all of these prices are Canadian dollars. If you're in the US or in another part of the world, obviously the prices for you will be different, and this doesn't factor in any sales tax or shipping. So this one retails for, here in Canada, $4,990. Most of the ones that I looked at were available at a company called Cabin Depot here in Canada. All of this will be in the show notes. Anyway, so this is an incineration toilet, which means that it takes all of your waste, liquids and solids, and it basically burns them. There's a high-powered fan in there that sucks out as much moisture as it can, and then intense heat that will then burn the rest. It ends up being just a little bit of ash in the disposal bin at the end of each cycle, and so very efficient, because the majority of our waste is moisture. And I don't want to be gross, but I don't want to be overly delicate either. We all poop and pee. So anyways, it's waterless and it's chemical-less, so it doesn't use any chemicals. It is a closed air system in there, which means that it sucks fresh air from the outside, and everything is sealed in there, the burn cycle and everything, and then it vents outside as well. So there is no exhaust, no smoke, anything coming inside your home, and it doesn't pull any of the fresh air from inside your home. It's very environmentally friendly because you're not ending up with a bunch of waste, solid waste, or liquid that you then have to dispose of in some form. It has the option of being on 120 or 12 volt, or it can be on a propane system. You just buy the model for propane, so you could be absolutely off-grid with this toilet. It comes with all of the mounting hardware, so you have everything you need to get ready to go, and it's pretty slick for somebody who wants a toilet that can be completely off-grid, that doesn't require you having to dispose of bags of solid waste or the liquid waste. This is probably, and you can afford it, this is probably an excellent option for you. Now, the cons are, it's very expensive. It's the most expensive of the ones that I looked at because I was curious about this. I'd heard really good things about it. It does have really good reviews, but it is very expensive. And it's complicated to install. It probably wouldn't be something I would be comfortable installing myself, because I would want to be sure that it was installed properly, because if you don't install it properly, I think things could go very wrong. You do have combustion happening inside your house. So there's always the potential for something to go wrong with that and having, it affect air quality, carbon monoxide, that sort of thing inside your house. And you do have to buy the little paper liner bags that they use in it. When you do your business, it drops into this bag. That's what pops down and gets burnt. And you do have to buy those, and you have to buy them directly from them or a supplier of them. And they're not something that you can just buy at your Home Depot or grocery store, that sort of thing. So those are the cons of the Cinderella Comfort incinerating toilet. The next one we're going to talk about is the Laveo dry flush toilet. I was really curious about this one because I had seen it on a couple of videos for people that had outfitted their a camper van, and they wanted an option for a toilet that didn't require a gray tank or a black tank, or actually a power source. So the Laveo dry flush toilet is waterless, it's chemical free, it has kind of reminds me of a diaper genie, but it has these cartridges that you put in that basically bag the waste every time you go and you flush. It sucks the waste down in there and wraps it in a bag, and vacuum seals it basically, and then it dispenses more of that bag. It's one continuous cartridge. I will link a video down below. And so it's very clean. It's very easy to use. It comes with rechargeable battery in it. So one charge of the battery is supposed to last for 300 flushes, which is a long time. So it can be absolutely off-grid. You could take this car camping, tent camping, you could put it anywhere you want. You could put it on a boat, because it doesn't need to be vented outside. It doesn't need to have a continuous power source to it. All it does is need to be charged up, and then away you go for 300 flushes. And when you're done with that cartridge, it's inside of another container with a bag, and you just basically pull it out, tie the bag around that full cartridge, and you dispose of it in the regular garbage. And so easy to use, very convenient that way, and there is no installation required. Those are the pros. The cons are you have to purchase those cartridges, and you have to purchase them either directly from the company or from a supplier. Each cartridge has about 30 flushes, if I remember correctly. Packet of 3 on Amazon.ca is $180. At Cabin Depot, where I was doing my research, they're $120 for a cartridge, pack of 3 cartridges. So you have to buy those cartridges. You have to always carry those cartridges if you are traveling, and they're not something that's easy to find. You have to order them. You can't buy them at, again, your Home Depot, or your local home supply store, Walmart, anything like that. Biggest con is pretty obvious. There's a huge amount of waste here. None of it is biodegradable other than the solids that you're putting in there. The amount of garbage that you are putting into a landfill every year from using a toilet like this as your permanent sort of residence toilet is incredible. It's not something that I would even consider. I was curious, so I did the research, but spoiler alert, this is not the one I chose, because it just, to me, is so wasteful. Because the whole purpose of going to a waterless toilet, a compost toilet, a more off-grid type toilet, is to save the environment, to not be wasting potable water, to be flushing waste, that sort of thing. And this just goes against all of that. So there's a market for this type of product, but the Laveo dry flush is got that huge con, and definitely is not something that I would consider. The next one I'm going to talk about is one that you probably all heard about if you've done any kind of research into a compost toilet, and that is the Nature's Head composting toilet. Now, this is an OG because it's been around for a long time. It's very well reviewed, it's very popular, and there's good reason. As these toilets go, it's one of the more affordable ones. On Amazon you can buy it. On Amazon Canada you can buy it for $1,287. At Cabin Depot it was $1,299, so pretty close to the same price. It's really easy to set up. It comes with the mounting hardware. It separates the solids and the liquids into a jug at the front and a solids container at the back. So because of that, there's virtually no smell. There's a built-in fan that constantly exhausts any smells outside. It can be on a 12 volt or 120 volt system, and you can buy an extra urine jug if you want. And the solids, again, you would either compost or dispose of like you would a diaper or something like that. The solids go into the back, and there you turn a little lever to aerate it. You use sort of coconut core or peat moss or some sort of a medium at the back in the solids container and all of that. It's really a popular one. I've seen a lot of camper vans use it. I've seen a lot of tiny houses use it that are more off-grid. It's a super popular choice. It has great reviews. Wherever I've seen it, people love it. It's really easy to use. So the cons are that you have to actually open the flap whenever you are going to do your business. That leads down into the solids container, and that can be a problem if you happen to forget to do that. When you are emptying the urine jug, you have to lift up the whole top compartment, and it exposes the solids container, so that's gross. Also, there is no sensor that tells you when you're getting close to that urine jug being full. Now, it is translucent, so you can sort of see, but if you get it wrong, that can be a real mess. But I also think it's kind of ugly. Like, it's not the sleekest of designs. You can see the jug from the outside, so if somebody else is using your toilet, that's kind of gross. And so it's not my favorite design, but it's a really good price as far as this style of toilet goes. And it's super easy to use, and it gets really good reviews. So it's definitely one that I'm considering. So the next one that I was looking at is the Separate Villa. Now, this one at Cabin Depot is $1,500 Canadian. You can buy it on Amazon. It's more expensive on Amazon. It was $1,920 on Amazon when I looked. But this one is also a urine diverting toilet. This one, the liquids drain out directly. So there's a hose that from the urine diverter that would go into either a gray water tank, a septic field, some sort of disposal. There is no urine jug. One of the things I love about the separate models is that there's a flap that covers the solids container. So when you lift the lid, the top lid to use the toilet, you don't see down there, which is nice. It only opens, the flap only opens when you sit down because it's pressure sensitive. It works on a 12 volt or 120 volt system. There is a fan that's running. And all of the hardware that you need to install it is included. It does need to vent out, so the vent can either comes off the top and can either go straight out through the wall or up through your ceiling. So those are the pluses. Now the negatives are it's kind of ugly. It's large and it's not very sleek in design. And I think it's a negative that there isn't an option for a urine jug, because not everybody has the ability or wants to be able to directly divert their urine outside the house. But again, it's super popular. It's been around a long time. And I think that it's a good option for people who want to be able to directly divert. Next, we're going to go to the Separate Tiny. Now, it is also from the same company as the one we just talked about. However, it is a much smaller model. It's much sleeker. It comes in two models. It comes in a direct drain model that retails at Cabin Depot for $1,519, or there's a model that has an internal urine jug, and that retails for $1,589. It's nice that there are the options. Now, the pros are it's small, it's sleek, it's great for small spaces like tiny houses or vans, boats, things like that. Because it separates the solids from the liquids, and there's an internal fan running inside of it, there is no smell. It runs on 120 volt or 120. You can buy additional urine jugs if you want. It comes with all of the hardware that you would need to install it. And the installation looks really straightforward. I was watching the videos for each of these and how to set them up. This one's very straightforward. It does vent out, either can vent out directly behind the toilet down into the underneath into the floor and out, or up through your ceiling. Another big plus of this model that the Nature's Head doesn't have is that the urine jug is inside of the toilet itself, so you don't see it from the outside, and there is a sensor light that comes on whenever the jug is almost full, so you have lots of warning to know that the jug is full. You can also buy an additional jug. It has great reviews, and like I say, it's really small and sleek. The cons are it's more expensive than the others, especially the one for the jug. Aside from the incinerating one, that's in a category all itself. But at almost $1,600 for the one with the jug, it's more expensive than the others. But I think that is pretty much the only con that I can think of for this model. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about is actually the least expensive of all of these off-grid composting style toilets, and it is the Sunmar GTG composting toilet. Now, this retails on Amazon for $627 Canadian, or at Cabin Depot it was $673 Canadian. So what are the pros? It's small and sleek as well. It's got a really sleek profile. It's great for applications where you have very little space. Obviously, it's inexpensive for this type of toilet. I get that everything is more expensive than the luggable loo from Home Depot, so we're not talking about that. That was not something I was ever going to consider. I'm looking for options for a permanent daily use toilet. So it's small, it's sleek, it's inexpensive. It separates the liquids from the solids. It does have an internal fan that is running to keep the smells being pulled outside if there's any. It uses very low wattage, and it's very easy to install. It comes with everything you need. It's very easy to install. Now, the research that I did on this, the cons became obvious. Based on the reviews that I read, it seems that the quality of this toilet is not up to par compared to the other ones that we've looked at. There was a lot of bad reviews online about the quality not being very good, even the carry strap for the jug not being very secure. Whenever I read reviews about a product and I hear a theme about it being cheaply made, that concerns me. When you open it up to empty the jug, again, you can see directly into the solids container, so there's no flap or anything like that. If you were just buying a toilet for occasional use, for a cabin where you were there just occasionally, or a camper van that you didn't live in full time that you were using occasionally, a boat, that sort of thing, this could be the perfect situation because it's not expensive and it is easy to install yourself. There are a lot of other toilets on the market that you can buy to use off-grid, to use in your camper, to use in your tiny house. These are the ones that I looked at, that I actually did some research on and considered, because I was looking for a toilet that looked more like an actual toilet in the house, that didn't require me to pick it up and empty it into a sewer myself, like the whole toilet, that was not using chemicals, that wasn't a big power draw, that I could use in a situation where all I had available to me was gray water, and also that didn't produce a ton of waste. So that's what I was sort of looking for in my criteria when I was looking for the toilet that I was going to choose. So which one did I choose? If you haven't guessed already, I chose the separate tiny toilet, and here is why. First of all, it's beautiful. It's sleek, it's small. It hides everything inside, so there's no jug that you can see from the outside. It gave me the option to have a jug versus a direct drain, which is what I wanted. I really love that it has a sensor that lets you know when the jug is almost full. You can buy a separate jug as well, so you have a second one. And big for me was that flap that is closed until you sit, so you don't actually see that when you open up the lid for your toilet or when you're emptying the jug. All of those things added up to it being the perfect choice for me. I was willing to spend a little bit more to have the one with the jug, which was another $70 for the one with the jug. But again, for me, that was worth it because this is the toilet that I will be using all day, every day in my tiny house. And also, I wanted a toilet that would be nice when company came over. The choice was between the Nature's Head or the separate Tiny, and I ended up going with the Tiny because, again, to me, it looked more like a regular toilet. It was prettier, and it just seemed easier to empty and maintain. That's the one I chose. I have just placed the order from Cabin Depot, so I haven't heard yet that it is on its way. But they told me it would only be about 2 or 3 weeks, so it should get here before I leave. Hopefully it gets here before I leave, because this is where it's being delivered to. And I'm going to install it before I move if I can. Looks really straightforward. The vent, I think I can go straight down into the floor and out of the house in the hole that's already there for the plumbing for the original flush toilet. I should be able to do that. If not, then I can cap that off and I can drill a hole straight through the wall behind. It comes with all the hardware for the vent on the outside, including a mesh screen so no bugs or anything can get in there, and a cover so no water can get in. It just looks really easy, or at least straightforward to install. So I'm looking forward to getting that done, if at all possible, before I go. If not, then I'll just have it here and I'll install it when I get there. When I ordered it from Cabin Depot, shipping was free, which was nice, because the other places that I looked were going to charge me extra for delivery, like $80 or $90 to have it delivered. So I thought that was a good deal. When it gets here, I'll do an unboxing. I like that I can just use a regular composting bag in that bin and not have to buy special bags or cartridges from the company or from Amazon. It just seems like the most straightforward one to use, and the most like a regular toilet once it's there. And I've never used a composting toilet, so I'll let you know what I think. Let me know which one of those you would have chosen and why. I'm really curious. Or if you already use one, let me know what you think of it. There are a lot of other ones on the market. I couldn't show you every single one. These were just the ones that I actually looked at and considered. The dry flush one I considered for maybe 2 seconds until I realized just how wasteful it was going to be for daily use. But I do think that there's probably some situations that it would make sense. Anyways, that's the video. I hope you found it interesting. I really did find this research interesting. It was amazing to me how much was out there in this type of market. Again, there are a lot of cheaper options that you can do or even build yourself. That wasn't something that I was going to do. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind, because we all need more kindness in this world. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.